Welcome to Projection Reflection. I'm your host, Coordinato, and I'm going to be reviewing the new Marvel movie, Venom. Well, technically it's not Marvel, it's Sony, Marvel, but Marvel movie. This film was released in October. It was released on October 5th. Sorry I'm bringing it out late. I meant to go see it last week, but I've been pretty busy lately. So I'm bringing it out now. This movie was directed by Ruben Fleischer, who directed the famous movie Zombieland. This movie stars Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock and Venom, Michelle Williams as Anne Wang, and Riz Ahmed as Carlton Drake and the villain Riot. The plot of the film is that journalist Eddie Brock gains superpowers after being bound to an alien symbiote whose species plan to invade Earth. And that's just all I'm going to give you, because I'm not going to give a lot of spoilers in this review. I might do very, very small spoilers, but I really don't. It's nothing that's going to ruin the film for anybody. It's not going to give away anything about the major plot of the film. I'm going to start with the likes on this film. I really liked Tom Hardy's performance as Eddie Brock. He brought a lot of humor to the role and also kind of more dramatic, serious part. It was like a mixture of dramatic, serious, and comedy for his character. And his character and like his interactions with Venom were really good. And I wish I could have seen more of that in the film. I really liked just him and Venom's back and forth, like of course Venom like being the voice in Eddie's head, and it's just also what was great is that Venom in the comic books is kind of a funny character sometimes, and they did show that in this movie, that Venom can be a comical character, and Tom Hardy showed that perfectly in this movie. I really think that he was like by far the best part of the film. I really liked Eddie Brock and Venom. I just thought they were just both great characters. And Tom Hardy just did it extremely well. You could tell that film was very much based on like the 90s comic books. Like you could really tell that this was based off the story. Of course, it's based off the story Lethal Protector. And I have a few of those comic books to show you a little bit later in the review. But yeah, you can tell it's very much based off the 90s Venom comics that made Venom so popular. And I liked that because I grew up with Venom in the 90s. I grew up with him in the animated Spider-Man TV show, like right here. This is like these are my favorite storylines in the in the 90s Spider-Man show. And Venom is just, it reminded me of Venom from this. Like I know like this movie did not have Spider-Man in it, and I know Venom minus Spider-Man is kind of a downer, but yeah, Venom was cool, and I liked that he was like the one in the animated series. Venom's kind of a goofball, and they showed that in this movie, and that's neat. That's cool. I've got to say, I loved the action scenes in this film. It really showed like the power of the symbiote in this, especially the fight between Venom and Riot. I really liked that. I mean, it was short, but not too short. It was good. I liked the fight between the police officers and Venom. That was probably one of my favorites. And, of course, the chase scene, the motorcycle chase scene in the film was pretty freaking sweet. Just the way that the symbiote was, the Venom was taking control of the motorcycle, like, with the ooze, like, coming out of Eddie's arms. It was helping him grip onto the motorcycle and helping him make all these sick turns. And, of course, you saw in the trailer where he's going up the hill, and he loses the bike for a second, and then Venom like pops out of Eddie and clings up back onto the motorcycle. Like that whole sequence is great. I really loved that. These action sequences in these films are like spot on. I really liked them. Carlton Drake was a decent villain. Like, he was very, like, in a way, he was kind of over the top, but not too over the top, if you know what I mean. I just wish that he was given a little bit more in the film. Like, you see him a good bit in the movie, but it seems like he's only there for just a tiny, just a little bit. I just wish I would have got to know his character a little bit more and known more about his character. What else can I say? I like that this film... now, I'm going to mention a friend right now. There's this girl I was talking to. She had seen the movie before me, and she was saying, like, oh, this movie's so bad, and it's, like, so ridiculously bad, and I'm like... And she's like, it's so, like, old-fashioned, like, from the 2000s, and I'm like, well, that's honestly not a bad thing, because some decent superhero movies came out in the 2000s and in the 1990s. Let's see, Blade came out in the 90s, the first Blade film, which is a decent superhero film. Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 2, both came out in the 2000s and are excellent films. There's Daredevil, which some people don't like, but I'm a fan of the Daredevil director's cut. But, yeah, this film, it does have an old feel, but it can be a bad thing and be a good thing. In this film, it's kind of a good thing, because what we're given now with superhero films, especially with the MCU films, is that they're all cookie cutter. They're all exactly alike. They're very the same. And at least Venom gave us something different. Because, yeah, that's the way I feel about it. I don't understand why people have to get on old superhero films, because at least back then, films like that had more heart. Like, at least, I think Venom has a little bit of heart to it. And I could tell that the creators at least had some admiration for the character, especially the 90s version of Venom. But yeah, just because a movie's from the 2000s doesn't mean it's bad. But I think this movie, it reminded me, a lot of the tone of the film reminded me of the original Daredevil film from 2003 starring Ben Affleck. It gets a little bit of hate, but there's actually a good following for it, and it's really a good film. I personally like, if you're gonna watch the 2003 Daredevil, you gotta watch the director's cut. But yeah, I felt that Venom was a lot like the Daredevil film, and like I said, that's not a bad thing, because this film is loved by a good bit of people. Especially This is the way that I think this film is going to be, is that it's going to be a underrated superhero film. Like, a couple of years down the road, people are going to look back at this film and be like, yeah, that was actually decent. That was good. Like, some people aren't going to like it. Some people are going to like it. Like, on Rotten Tomatoes, this film, I think, has like about 30% on, and with audience score, it's like 89%. So audiences really love it. Critics aren't much for it. I mean, I can understand a little bit of the reasons why people don't like it, which we're going to get into that in a little bit right now. Let's see. Another thing I liked about the film was that the jokes in this film were very good. I thought Venom and Eddie's interactions were pretty funny, especially this one part where Venom's like taking Eddie up with this really top building, and Eddie Brock doesn't like heights, and Eddie's looking out the window, and Venom's like, jump! And then, like, they show another scene where Eddie's getting on an elevator, and Venom's like, pussy. And I was like, I laughed out loud during that scene. That was really funny. There are other funny interactions between Venom and Eddie, and they're great. This film is very funny. I really liked, I'll say it again, I really like the interactions between Venom and Eddie. Let's see. Let's get into the dislikes about this film. The film's pacing, I think, could have been a little better. The film kind of went too fast sometimes. I felt like during some scenes, especially the dramatic scenes, the film needed to slow down a little bit. It just needed to take its time, but it felt very, very fast-paced, especially right in the beginning. Right when it jumps into the film, it's very, very, very fast-paced when you're getting to know about Eddie and his job, and like everything is just going, it's like on fast forward. And I'm like, okay, slow it down a little bit. But yeah, it's a little bit fast-paced, and they just need to slow it down a little bit. That's one of my dislikes with the film. Another one would be the different tones of the film. Like, there was parts of this film where it could be really dark, there was parts where it could be really funny, there was parts where it could be dramatic, it was trying to be so many different things in one movie, and apparently Tom Hardy said there was like a lot of scenes that were cut that would have made this film like a lot darker. I would have liked if the film would have been rated R. That way we could have actually seen like Venom eat people's brains or eat people just in general. Like that would have been cool, and we could have got like a lot more. We just could have gotten like maybe a better Venom film. I do like this film, but it could have been a little bit better if it was rated R. And I wish they could have gotten their tones right. Like, what is this movie? What do you want this movie to be? And Ruben Fleischer, I don't think he quite got the tone, what he wanted the tone to be in the movie. But I think this movie, in general, it was marketed wrong. Because with the trailers, they made it look out to be like this big action, dark action movie, when in actuality, the film's more of like a comedy action thriller type. That's what the movie's more like than just a dark action film. So yeah, I wish the film would have got its tone out better, and I wish the film would have been marketed a little bit better. So that's like another like dislike on this film. Michelle Williams, I thought she was okay. Actually, I thought she gave like a decent performance in the film, but her character was alright. That's like a little thing. That's not really, I guess it's not really a dislike. I just thought her performance is okay. Riot. I really wanted to get a better introduction to the character. You got to see him a little bit in this film. You got to know about him a little bit, but I wanted like an expanded like story about Riot, about why he's bad, like why is he doing the things that he's doing. I wanted to see more interactions between him and Carlton Drake in the film, and I think I wish the movie could have been a little longer. I guess that's another thing with me. I wish the movie could have been a little bit longer to show these extra scenes. And there probably are deleted scenes with Carlton Drake and Riot interacting, but I wish that was in the film. I wish there would have been more Venom and Eddie interacting as well, because they were like, Venom and Eddie Brock were like the best part of this film. It was just so good. Like I think the best part of this film, which I really loved, was Venom. Venom was the best part of the film. And isn't that what matters? What matters is that the character is portrayed well, and I believe that Venom was portrayed very well in this film. And I just wish we got to see more of Venom and Eddie like having the talks in his head, and because they're very funny, and it's very different from what people would want to see, but I really enjoyed it. I thought the comedy between Venom and Eddie was very well done, and I just wish we could have seen more of that in this film. Let me see. Other things. I mean, that's most of my dislikes with the movie. I guess I could name another like. I really liked the Eminem song called Venom. I really enjoyed that song. It was really cool. I've listened to it a couple times already. I already have it downloaded on iTunes. So, yeah, that song was really cool. I really miss like when superhero movies had like soundtracks. Like, I think the last time I saw like a soundtrack for a movie was like for the first Avengers film, where it had all kinds of different songs in it. And I think like Eminem's a comic book fan, so he was not going to pass up an opportunity to do a song for a comic book movie, kind of like Method Man when he did a song for the Batman Forever soundtrack. He did like I think it was a song called The Riddler. But I think like for comic book films, especially when I was saying that it needs to go, when I was saying about like old comic book films, like I loved that this film kind of took that trope from old comic book films about having like pop or hip hop songs or rock songs in the movie, and I liked that Eminem made the song for this film, because I think it's a very, very well done rap song for this film in particular. And I'm sorry if I'm rambling on. I'm hoping you're keeping up with me. Final verdict for Venom. I think it's a fun film that has its faults, but is a fun ride and a must-see film this year. It's one of the more unique and original superhero films. Like I was saying earlier, we are in a world where there's so many cookie-cutter MCU films, and they're almost all alike. but at least Venom gave us some originality. I will talk about another thing that another one of my friends said. This was a guy that I'm talking about. He was saying, "Oh, well, why don't I watch Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance after this? It seems like this film's a lot like that." I'm like, dude, Spirit of Vengeance freaking sucks. That is like the worst freaking superhero movie, like not ever, but it's pretty freaking terrible. I would never put Venom in the same lineup as Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance. Just no. I mean, this guy I'm talking about, he liked Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Like this film, Venom, is better than Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. I mean, some of you might disagree with me on that, but it's just, in my opinion, it's way better than that film. But really, seriously, Spirit of Vengeance? You're gonna compare Spirit of Vengeance and Venom? Just no. Let me get into it again here. Like I said, fun film, has its faults. It's a fun ride and very unique original superhero film. And it's really fun. It's just a fun adventure it's just a fun film to watch. I really loved it. I was entertained. Like it was an entertaining film. It was really, like I said, it was a fun ride. I really enjoyed it. If I had to score this film, I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5. It was entertaining. It has its, like I said, it has its faults, but a 3.5 out of 5 is a good score for a film. I think so. It's like I said, it's much better than Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom that came out earlier. But yeah, Venom is a good film, and I highly recommend you guys go see it. Let me see. I have some things to show you real quick. I am a huge Venom fan, and like I showed you this, if you're a Venom fan, I highly recommend you try and find this. This is the whole Venom saga told in the original 90s Spider-Man cartoons. And Venom is also very well portrayed in the Spectacular Spider-Man series. So if you're a Venom fan, check this out. I've always been a fan of the Venom symbiote. And here is my Secret Wars number 8, which is actually the first appearance of the black suit. So that's pretty cool. Here is another. They say that's the first appearance, but this is also the first appearance of his new suit. This is the Amazing Spider-Man number 252, introducing the new Spider-Man. Here's another one that also counts as like one of the first appearances of the Black Spider-Man suit. The Marvel Team Up number 141. This is the first issue of Web of Spider-Man, where Peter Parker gets rid of the symbiote at the clock tower. Here is the Amazing Spider-Man number 300, first appearance of Venom, and art by Todd McFarlane. Here's for Venom's first cover in the Amazing Spider-Man number 316, also Todd McFarlane art. A very cool cover. And here, let me get all of them here. This is what the film is based off of, the Venom Lethal Protector storyline. Here's Venom Lethal Protector number 1, Venom Lethal Protector number 2, Venom Lethal Protector number 3, Venom Lethal Protector number 4, Venom Lethal Protector number 5, and Venom Lethal Protector number 6. Riot from the Venom film is also in these comic books. This is where he actually first appears in this. Well, technically Carlton Drake first appears in this, and then Riot doesn't appear until number 4. Getting into another symbiote character, we have this is Amazing Spider-Man number 344, the first appearance of Cletus Cassidy, who would become the symbiote Carnage. We also have Amazing Spider-Man number 345 with Venom right in the corner there. He's like, "Miss me?" You got an awesome cover by Eric Larson with the Amazing Spider-Man number 346. That is pretty sweet. Then you have The Amazing Spider-Man number 361, first appearance of Carnage. You have Amazing Spider-Man number 362, Venom and Carnage going after Spider-Man right there. Another awesome cover by Eric Larson. And you have The Amazing Spider-Man number 363. I love all the heads right here. That is pretty awesome. Also have Venom Separation Anxiety, which is a 4-issue miniseries. We have number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. That's my favorite cover. That is like a sick cover right there. And last but not least, we have Venom Funeral Pyre, starring the Punisher, and Venom The Madness Part 1, starring the Juggernaut. You can see him right there. And this is the newest Venom comic book. If you want to find some really awesome comic books like this, I highly recommend the comic book shop in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. It is called Surfin' Cow Comics. It is found on 74 West Main Street in Waynesboro, PA. So yeah, check out Surfin' Cow Comics and make sure to tell the owner, Shane, I said hi. Just real quick, I forgot to mention the effects in this film. I thought the effects were pretty decent. I liked the overall look of Venom and the other symbiotes that were shown in the film. He looked very oozy and liquidy, and because that's what a symbiote is. It's very, very liquid, very like almost like slime kind of. And it had the Venom when it went over Eddie. It had that slime effect, and I really liked that. So yeah, the effects were decent. So yeah, overall I give Venom a 3.5 out of 5, and I highly recommend this film. Even if it has a 3.5 out of 5 score, I still think it's a good movie, and I definitely recommend you go see it. And yeah, I hope you guys liked the review, and catch you later.
Gonna taste my venom. I got that